Welcome friends. In this video we are going to look at the mathematics paper 1 for the year 2021. This paper was written by the internal candidates. Now let's look at the first question. Simplify 2y minus 3 open brackets x minus 4 then close brackets minus y. So to simplify means to make it simple. So now let's look at this question. So what is our first step here? We can see that we have brackets, so we need to get rid of the brackets. So that is our first step here. So how can we do this? So let's begin by first expanding. So negative 3 will multiply by x, giving us negative 3x. Then negative 3, the same negative 3 should multiply by negative y. This will give us 12 minus y. Then at this stage, we are going to collect the like terms. So the like terms, we can see these 2y and y, these are like terms. So these are the just like terms that we have for this problem. So we just see 2y minus y minus 3x plus 12. So 2y minus y, we can now say y minus 3x plus 12. So this is our solution for this question, since we cannot simplify it further. Now we can move on to question 2, evaluate. So to evaluate simply means to find the actual numerical value. Now here I want you to see the difference. There is a difference between negative 3 raised to the power 2, where we have negative 3 in brackets, and negative 3 squared. So whenever whenever we don't have the brackets, this means that only 3 is squared. So this is same as like this, which means negative, it will be outside, then 3 times 3. So this will give us negative 9. But for this one, the above is same as negative 3 times negative 3. This will give us positive 9. So you are able to see the difference. So whenever we have the negative inside the bracket, then you have to square including the negative. So now let's do the needful here. So negative outside, this is, we are saying it's 3 times 3 plus here we have 3 times 3. So we get our 3 times 3 is 9 times negative will give us negative 9 plus negative 9. Then if we add, our answer will give us a 0. So this is our final answer here. Then we go to question 3, solve the equation. So to solve the equation, here we can see that the letter that we have is x. So here is same as to find the value of x. That's what we want. Now how can we do this? So let's look at the given problem. So 2x minus 5, then x plus 3 is equal to 0. So we need to check if our equation has been factorized for us, and we can see that it is factorized. So what are we going to do? We are going to equate each in the bracket is equal to 0. So this 2x minus 5 must be equated to 0. X plus 3 must also be equated to 0. Then we can solve for x. So 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. X plus 3 is equal to also 0. Then here, what are we going to do? We collect the like term, or we just have to make sure that every term without x must shift to the right side. So this negative 5 will go to this side, giving us 2x is equal to 0 plus 5. Then if we add 0 plus 5, we'll get 5. Now to get rid of 2, we divide by 2, also here by 2. So our final answer is just 5 over 2, or if you want, we can convert this one into a mixed fraction. 2 into 5 will give us 2, remainder 1 over 2. Then let's try for the other one. So we'll do the same. So x is equal to 0. We know this will become negative 3. Then our x is equal to negative 3 as our final answer. Now we move on to question 4. Use set notation to describe the shaded part in the Venn diagram. So now let's look at the relationship between B and C, because we know that A is shaded. A is shaded. Then let's look at B and C. So for B and C, it's the union. It's the intersection. It's the intersection of B and C. So you can say that the region for B and C is intersecting. Or if you want, maybe let's do this. Let's maybe make some numbers so that you may have the actual picture for this diagram. So let us first begin by listing the element of set A. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5. Then let's find the B intersecting C. So B intersecting C will be 5, 6. Okay, now we can see that these elements plus these elements, we want to combine this set. So which symbol can we put in between? So we'll put union. So that is our answer. So it's A union B intersection C. So that is what we want. We want to combine the two sets. Then we can move on to question 5. Find the equation of a straight line passing through the point 3, 4 and 7, 12. So what are we supposed to do here? So the first pair will be over x1 and y1. Then the second pair would be over x2 and y2. So what is our first step here? Find the gradient. So what is the formula for the gradient? So we know that gradient is denoted by small letter m, and it's y2 subtract by y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 7. You can see that here we have 7 minus our y1 is 4 divided by y2 is 12, not 7. Then x2 is 7 minus 3. So let's do subtraction. So 12 minus 4 will get 8 over 7 minus 3 will get 4. 8 divided by 4 will get 2. So 2 is our gradient. Now after we've done finding our gradient, we can now apply the formula for a straight line, since we are solving for that straight line. So it's y minus y1 is equal to gradient, open brackets, x minus x1. So y1 is 4, gradient, we have it 2, then x1 is 3. Then we can expand the right side. So the 2 will multiply with x, So 2 times x will give us 2x. Then the second one, the 2 multiplied by -3, giving us -6. Then what we do here, we are going to collect the like terms. Now the like terms here, we just have to make sure that the -4 shift to the other side and the sign will change. So y is equal to 2x minus 6, then plus 4. Then our final answer will be 2x minus 2. We are going to subtract due to different signs. Then for question 6, factorize completely. So we have 3x raised to the power 3 minus 12xy raised to the power 2. So to factorize this, first we need to get the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is the number that can go into the given numbers that we have. So the greatest number that can go into 3 and 12 is 3 itself. Then from there we need to check for, do we have any letter that is common? So you can see that x is common, so 3x is common. Then after that we open the brackets. So we are going to divide 3x into 3x cubed. This will give us x squared. Then 3 into -12 will give us -4. We can see that x will divide by x, then we have y squared. Now we can see that we still have some work to do. First we need to make sure that now our 4 is written as a perfect square, which is 2 squared, then y squared. Upon reaching this, we can see that each variable is raised to the power 2. Then we can introduce now difference of 2 squares. So difference of 2 squares. So that's what we are going to do. Now what is the formula? So let's say if we have a squared minus b squared, so the formula is we are supposed to open 2 pairs of brackets. Then a will be written here, the other one here, plus minus b here, b here. So that's the format for difference of 2 squares. So we're going to do the same. Now for you to use this method, make sure that you have the negative in between the 2 expressions. So one x here, the other one here. You can, it doesn't matter which bracket will have the plus or minus, you can write it anywhere, so it's okay. So say plus, minus, 2 here, 2 here, y also here, then you have it. So this is our final answer. Then we have to, now question 7, a matrix M is equal to this matrix, find the transpose of M. So our M has these elements. Now to find the transpose, you just have to swap the columns, the rows with the columns, or you just have to change. So this is our row 1. So this is our row 1, then this is our row 2. Then for us to find the transpose of this matrix M, the row 1 will become the column 1 in the second matrix. So here the row 1 will become as the column 1, then row 2 will become as the column 2. So row 1 has -2 and 3, so this will be -2, then 3 here, 4 here, -2 here. So this is our final answer. Then for B, we want to find the product of matrix P and Q. So from the arrangement, we can see that we are starting with P. Then we want to multiply the elements of P with the elements of Q. So it's row by column. So this negative 1 multiplied by positive 2, so this will be 2 times negative 1 plus the negative 1 will do the same. So this is negative 1 times 3. Then we can see that we only have one column, so we close. When you go to this 0, we multiply with this one. So 0 times negative 1. Then we add 3, we multiply with 3. Then we can now continue. 2 times negative 1 will give us negative 2. Then negative 1 times 3 will give us negative 3. 0 times negative 1 will give us a 0. Plus 3 times 3 will give us a 9. Then our final answer will be negative 5 on top. We are going to add then 9 here. So this is our final answer. Then we move on to question 8a. It is given that the universal set has the first 8 whole numbers and A even numbers. List set A. So let's first look at the set E, which is our universal. Now, all numbers, these are counting numbers that begins from 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then we end up to 8. So we are saying a whole number we'll say all numbers are numbers that we use to count, not only count. The key point is they start from 0. Then for question A, we can see that we have even numbers. What are even numbers? Even numbers are numbers that are divisible by 2. Numbers in which 2 can go without leaving a remainder. So it's a number that we are interested. So the first number here is 2. Then 4, we'll have 6. Then we'll end at 8. So we've done the needful. So this is our final answer. So the whole thing is about you knowing the type of numbers that we have. Then for question B, a certain company sells shares at 1.30 kwacha per share. A business woman had 9,100 to buy shares. So how many shares did she get? So its number of shares will be equal to, we'll say total money, total amount of money, then divided by the amount per share. So if you want to determine the number of shares somebody can get given the total amount of money that person has and the amount per share, you just have to put the total amount of money that person has on top, which is 9,100. Then you divide by the amount per share, because we know that the amount per share is 1.30 kwacha, which is 1 kwacha 13 way. So what can we do here? So we can let's multiply by 100 to get rid of the decimal. Also here by 100. If you want, we can just multiply by 10 since we have a 0 here. But since we've written 100, let's do that. So for 9,1, we'll just add these 2 zeros. So that's the rule for multiplication. Then this will be 130, another 0. Now let's cancel this. We can cancel this. So we can see that on top we have 9, 1, 0, 0 over 13. So we can cancel the quater. Now the question is how many times can 13 go into 91 without giving us a remainder? So how do you solve mathematics like this? So let's do this. So we are going to say, we'll say 13 plus 13. So 13 plus 13 is 26, plus 13, that is 39. 39 plus 13 is 52, plus 13, 65. 65 plus 13, 78. 78 plus 13 will give us 91. So we can see that we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 13 can go into 91, 7. So our final answer will be 700 shares. So that's how you do whenever you encounter a question like this. Now we move on to question 9. The third and fourth terms of an arithmetic progression are 6 and 3 respectively. Find the first term. Okay, so we have our A here. First term we don't have. Second term we don't have. Third term we have it. So our third term is 6. Then our fourth term we also have it, that is our 3. So we are going to find the common difference. So common difference is equal to, according to the numbers that we have to this sequence, this will be term number 4 minus term number 3, which is common difference is equal to term number 4 is 3 minus 6. Then our common difference, we can see that it's negative 3. So this means that for us to get the second term, we were subtracting by a 3. Now how can we go back? So we can go back now by adding. So 6 plus 3 here is 9, plus 3 here is 12. So that is the pattern. If want, we can also find the same answer by using the nth term formula. So we know that Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1, then multiply by our common difference. So where there is Tn, we put the last number, which is 3. A is what we are solving for, plus n, there are how many? 4 terms, so it's 4 minus 1 multiplied by negative 3. So we have a plus here we have 3 times 3. So what is 3 times negative 3 will give us negative 9. So let's take our negative 9 to the left side. So this will give us 3 plus 9 is equal to a. 3 plus 9, we know that it will give us 12 as our first term. So we can find, we've answered it like this. Then we can move on to question B, the formula for the nth term. So whenever we are looking for the formula, we are going to write the actual formula. So now the concept here is whenever you are solving for the formula for the nth term, where there is any, you don't substitute any value. So Tn is equal to, our A is our first term. So according to the data is 12 plus n minus 1. Then our common difference, we have it negative 3. So this negative 3 will multiply by n, giving us negative 3n. Negative 3 times negative 1 will give us positive 3. Then we can collect the like term, so 12 plus 3 minus 3n. then Tn is equal to, here we have 15 minus 3n. So this is our final answer. Now we move on to question 10a. The probability of getting a black button from a box is 2/9. Find the probability of getting a button which is not black. So we'll say probability of getting black plus probability of not getting black is equal to 1. So probability of getting black is 2/9 plus probability of not getting black is equal to 1. Then what you do, we can now shift 2/9 to the other side. So this will give us a probability of not getting black. Then this will be 1 minus 2/9. So over 1, we cross multiply. So here we have 9. 1 into 9 is 10 times that 9 minus 9 into 9 is 1 times 2 will give us 2. So 9 minus 2 will give us 7/9. So this is our final answer. So the whole thing is, if you are given one probability and asked to find another probability, just subtract the given probability from 1, then you'll be able to get your answer. Then for those that may not want to use the principle for lowest common denominator, we can simplify or find our final answer as this. So we know it's 1 minus 2/9. So you can just focus on it. The denominator here is 9. So we multiply this 1 times 9 over 9 times 1. So that's a pattern. So that 9 times 1 is 9/9 minus 2/9. We know that 9 minus 2 will give us 7, then over 9. So you can simplify it like that. Then for question B, the diagram below shows a sector A or B with center at O and radius 21 centimeters. The angle subtended at the center is theta, and the area of the sector is 462 square centimeters. So we are dealing with a question for under the sector where you are given area, and the question is calculate the value of theta. So what is our first step? So our first step is, first we need to apply the formula. Area is equal to, we are going to have theta over 360, then pi r squared. So where there is A, we put the area given. So this is 462. Theta is what we are solving for, over 360 times the pi is 22/7 times our radius is 21 centimeters multiplied by another 21 centimeters. Okay, so we can begin by, we can make some reductions. So if we want, we can first break our numbers. So let's do this. So 360 is same as 180 degrees times 2. Then 22 is same as 11 times 2 over 7. 21 is same as 3 times 7. Then another 21 like this. So that we can cancel this, we cancel this, we cancel this, we cancel this. So from there, we can see that we have 462 is equal to theta. Now, how can we break 180? So 180 is same as 60 degrees multiplied by 3 times 11 times 3 centimeters times 21. Now 21, okay, let's just write it like this for now, so that we can cancel this. So we can see how we are reducing the numbers. So we have 462, okay, centimeters squared is equal to, how can we break this one? So 60 is same as 20 times 3 times 11 times 7 is 3 times this one. So that we can cancel this one, we cancel this one. Now let's check for what is remaining. So over 1, we cross multiply. So here we have theta times 11 times 7. So 11 times 7 centimeter squared times theta is equal to 462 centimeters squared times 20 degrees. So now from the numbers that we have so far, which number can we first get rid of? So let's divide by 7 centimeters squared, also by 7 centimeters squared, because 7 can go into 462. So we cancel this, we cancel this. Now 7 into 7 is 1. 7 into 46 will give us 6. So 6 remainder 4. Then 7 into 42 is also 6 times 20. So we can see that now we have our answer as required. So over 11. So what is our final answer? So we can see that 11 can go into 66. So 11 here is 1, 11 here is 6. So 6 times 20 will give us 120 as our angle theta. So for question 11, the positions of 3 towns A, B, and C on the earthly surface are shown in the diagram below. A plane flying a distance of 4,500 nautical miles directly from town A to town B takes 5 hours. Find the speed of the plane in knots. So the formula, speed is equal to distance over time. So speed, what's our distance? Is 4,500 over time is 5 hours. So we know that 5 can go into 45, which is 9. So the final answer is 900 knots. Then for question B, if town C is 5 hours ahead of town A, find the longitude marked X. So here, this is time calculation. Now we are given the number of hours, or the difference in hours between 2 towns. So what are we supposed to do? We know that 1 hour is equivalent to 15 degrees. So what is 5 hours in degrees? So we'll do this, then we cross multiply. So if we do that, we are going to have X hour is equal to 5 hour times 15 degrees. We divide by hour, also here by hour. So that now, what is 5 times 15? We know that 15 times 4 is 60 plus another 5, that is 75. So the difference in terms of degrees is 75. Now the key point, or the concept behind the time, if you are given time and you want to find the difference, just multiply the given hours by you multiply the given hours by 15. Then let's go back to this point. So we can see that the longitude for A is located 25 degrees west. So for them to get 75, it means they added. And we know that the addition happens if you have one longitude on the western and the other one on the eastern. So if we are saying the difference for this point is it's 25 plus the x. So when they added these two, they got 75. So the key point is whenever you have this, you just have to subtract 25 from 75, then we'll be able to find our final answer. So our final answer is just 50. So this means that the longitude for B is 50 degrees. So that if we add 25 plus 50, we are still able to get our difference in longitude, which is that number. Then we move on to question 12. A learner measured the length of a line to be 2.2 centimeters. If the actual length is 2 centimeters, find the absolute error. So the formula is equal to recorded value or measured value subtracted by true value. Make sure you commit this formula to memory. So as our recorded value is 2.2 centimeters minus 2.0. So that we have 2.2 minus 2.0. So 2 minus 0 is just 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So our absolute error is 0.2 centimeters. Then for B, we are solving for percentage error. So the formula is percentage error is equal to, relative error times 100. So we'll say absolute error over true value. So this is the formula for relative error. Then multiplied by 100%. So as our absolute error, we've calculated this one, 0.2 over true value is 2 centimeters. This should be percentage, so we can cancel these. So 0.2 times 100 will give us so 10 will cancel with that decimal, will give us 20% over 2. 2 into 20 will give us 10% as our final answer. Okay, so we can now move on to question 13. Under question 13, you have to make sure that you have some properties that you need to commit to memory for you to answer or to understand this question. Now let's go through the points A, B, and C and D are on the circumference of a circle, center O, such that angle AOC is equal to 126 degrees, AO is parallel to DC, and angle OCB is equal to 33 degrees. So let's look at the first question. So the first question is find ADC. Find ADC. So how can we find this angle? So we can first find the angle ABC, because for angle ABC the property is the angle at the center is twice bigger, is twice the angle at the circumference. So this means that if you have the angle at the center and you want to find the angle on the circumference, you just have to divide by 2. So 126 divided by 2 will give us 63. Then for us to find the angle D, we'll say opposite angles. So opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral adds up to 180, or they are supplementary. So this means that if there is an angle X here and an angle Y here, the formula is X plus Y must add up to 180. Then we know that our X is 63 plus Y is equal to 180. Then how can we, so we can correct the like terms. So this will be Y is equal to 180 minus 63. So 180 minus 63. So if we get 1 from 8, we get 10. Here we have 7. Then remember, here we have 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. So we have 117 here. 117 as our final answer for this one. Then if what we can also look at this, we know that this will give us a circle. Now we can find the angle, the reflex of angle AOC. So how can we find? We know that a circle adds up to 360. So let's say 360 minus 126. So if we get here, we have 10 minus 6, we have 4. Then here we have 5 minus 2 is 3. So 234. This means that there is an angle of 234 on top here. So what is the half of 234? Because we know that the angle at the circumference. So this half of this will give us half of this. So 234 divided by 2. So will give us 117. Now let's look at the question B, OCD. OCD, this angle here. Now this will be answered. Look at the distance AO. This one and these two lines are parallel. So whenever you have two lines that are moving parallel to each other, the concept is if we have this angle and you want to find this angle, these two angles adds up to 180 as long as they are parallel, and we have been given that statement. AO is parallel to DC. So this means that here you just have to subtract 126 from 180, then you'll be able to get the final answer. And we know that if we subtract 180 minus this, so 180 minus 126, so here we have 4, 7 here we have 5, so 54. So this means that there is an angle of 54. If this angle is 54, then here is make sure that these two angles are adding up to 180. So that's a concept whenever you have two parallel lines. Then BAO, this angle. So how can we find this angle? So we can do this. Let's now divide this. So we know that this is the radius, also this is the radius. So if there is 33 here, also here we are going to have 33. And know that the total angle is equal to 63. So if there is 33 here, this means that there is a 30 here. This is radius, also this is radius. So even here we are going to have 30. So our angle there is also 30. So this is how we can answer a question like this one. We have question 14. The diagram below shows 3 points JK and L on a level ground. K is due east. This point is also very important. Then angle LJK is equal to 70 degrees and angle JKL is equal to 30. Calculate the bearing of K from L. So what is our first step? We need to draw vertical line at each point. Remember, these lines that we are drawing are parallel to each other. So the concept of alternate angles can also be applied here. Now let's first look at the angle. Which angle? So K from L, K from L. So L is here, K is here. So K is K from L. The bearing of K from L. So this, since the angle is coming from L, this line here is L. So where the angle is coming from is considered to be a vertical line. So if our L is here, so we need to look at the north of L, then we move in a clockwise direction. So we are solving for this angle, that is the bearing of K from L. Now how can we solve for this distance? So let's look at, we know that these two lines are parallel. So what are we supposed to do to find this angle? We know that we are told JK is due east. Whenever we are saying is due east, it means that these two are meeting perpendicular to each other. So they are forming an angle of 90. So if we have an angle of 90 here, how can we find this angle? We subtract 30 from 90, will give us a 60. Then we know that here we are going also to have 60 because of alternate angles. So our answer is 0, 60. Remember to add a 0 if you have two digits. Then J from L. J from L. So we are coming from the same L, but we move in this direction up to J. The line J is here. So that is the concept. Now remember, we have this line. This is our line. Then we can find this angle. We know that this is 90 because this line is due. So we have 90. 90 minus 70, we get 20. If there is 20 here, then there is also 20. So our final answer will be 360 minus 20. This will give us 340. Then question 15, the functions f and g are defined by f of x is equal to x plus 9 over 2 and g of x is equal to x minus 2. Find the f of inverse. Okay, so what is our first step here? Replace f of x with letter y. So let's do that. We have y is equal to x plus 9 over 2. Then here, what do you do? Make x the subject of the formula. So what do? You cross multiply. 1 times x plus 9 will be x plus 9. 2 times y will be 2y. Then we'll shift this number to this side. This will be x is equal to 2y minus 9. So you can see that we have x as the subject formula. So therefore we'll say f of inverse of x is equal to 2. Here where there is y, you replace with x minus 9. So that's our final answer. Then f g of x. So here we want a composite function. So the first function is f, then the inside function will be g. So begin with f, then our g of x will be inside. So we first write the function for f, which is x plus 9 over 2. Then the second one, where there is x, you put the other function. So it's g of x. So this will be x minus 2 plus 9 over 2. So if you get rid of the brackets, this will just be the same, x minus 2 plus 9 over 2. Then we know that here we are going to have plus 7 over 2. We subtract. Then f of negative 5. So we know that f of g of x, we have this expression. Is this one is x plus 7 over 2. So f of g of negative 5 will be, where there is x we put negative 5 plus 7 over 2. So if we add, we get 2 over 2. Then our final answer will just be 1. Then we move on to question 16a. Find the equation of a straight line which is perpendicular to the line 2y minus x is equal to 3 and passing through the point negative 4, 1. So what are we supposed to do? We write our equation. Then how can we find the equation of the normal? So that the equation of the normal is given by the formula of a straight line. Now from there we have the x1 we have is negative 4, y2, y1 is 1 I mean. So we have, so there is just the need of finding the gradient. Since if we do the substitution, we can see that we have these values here. So how can we find the gradient given the equation of a straight line? So the first one, make y the subject of the formula. So what you do, we take our negative x to the other side, giving us 2y is equal to 3 plus x. So we divide by 2, we divide by 2, we divide by 2. So y is equal to 3 over 2 plus half x. Then here where there is y, we put m for gradient. Then the value is just the number in front of x, which is 1 over 2. And if you want, we can just find the first derivative. If what we can use the calculus, we know that y is equal to 3 over 2 plus half. So if we differentiate dy with respect to x, this will be, we know that the derivative of a constant is 0. Then the derivative of x raised to the power 1 is just 1. So we just get half, which is the same as half. That is our final answer. Now remember the relationship between the gradient whose equation we have found and the gradient of the equation that we are trying to find. So we are finding the equation of the straight line which is perpendicular. So the whole thing is about perpendicular. Two lines meet perpendicular like this. So we know that the equation that we've calculated, we'll call this one as equation 1 is 1 over 2. Then what is the equation of the line which is perpendicular to this? So you just flip the numbers. So this will be 2 over 1. Then you also change the sign. So our final answer will just be negative 2. So y minus 1 is equal to, here we have negative 2. So we have negative 2x. Negative times negative is positive 4. Then we can expand negative 2 times x, negative 2x, negative 2 times positive 4 will give us negative 8. Then we can collect the like term. So this will be plus 1. So y is equal to negative 2x minus 7 as our final answer. Then question B, in this answer space below is an incomplete flowchart for calculating the curved surface area of a cylinder with radius r and height h. Complete the flow chart. So what is the formula for curved surface area of a cylinder? So CSA is equal to 2 pi RH. So here 2 and pi are constant, so these are not the inputs, so the inputs are just this. So you say enter radius and height. Then here we are going to now calculate. So curved surface area is equal to 2 times pi times radius times height. So we are done with that question. Then we move on to question 17. So question 17a, the figure below shows a parallelogram with center O. Describe fully the symmetry of the parallelogram about center O. So to describe, first we need to determine the order of rotational symmetry. So this means that how many times can we rotate this figure so that it is able to fit and it's able to go back to its original state. So let's say if this is our A, how many times can we rotate this to go back so that A comes to its original point? So you know that we can, the first rotation, A can't come here, it won't fit, but here, so the first rotation is this one, 1, then here 2, or you can just commit to memory that a parallelogram has an order of rotation 2. Then let's calculate the angle of rotation. So the angle of rotation will be 360 divided by the order. So always you divide by the order, this will give us 180. So now you can say a parallelogram has an order of rotational symmetry of 2 and angle of rotation, rotational symmetry 180 degrees about what is the center O. So the whole thing about describing free the symmetry is all about, you just have to mention the order of rotation, angle of rotation, and also the center of rotation. Then if you have those information, then well and good. Now let's look at question B. The diagram here shows triangles A, which is mapped onto triangle B by a single transformation P. Then let's look at what's our question? Describe fully the transformation P. So what do you think is this transformation? So we can say that B is just the B is just the, we know it's the image, but the kind of this image is if you look at this point and this point, they are like facing each other. So this is what we call reflection. So if we identify that this is reflection, we need to draw a mirror line. So this is our mirror line. So a mirror line is the line in between the two object and the image during reflection, where this distance here must be equal to this distance here. Then this distance must also be equal to this distance. This also must be applied here. This distance must also be equal to this distance. So that is all about reflection. Now this line is y is equal to negative x. So say triangle A was mapped onto triangle B by reflection in the mirror line, y is equal to negative x. Number 18, it is given that y varies directly as 2x and inversely. So inversely as z squared, so our z will be here. So we can now write our equation. So y is equal, immediately we introduce equal sign, we multiply by, so this will be 2xk over z squared. Then the first question is, we want to find the value of k, the constant of variation. So y is equal to 4, x is equal to 8, z is equal to 2. So let's do the substitution. Y, we have it, is 4. 2 times z, what's our x? 8. Multiplied by k, z squared is 2, which is 2 times z, 2 over 1, we cross multiply. So we know that this will be 2 times 8 times k. Then here we are going to have 4 times 2 times 2. So no need of multiplying these numbers. We know that we can divide by 2, also divide by 2. So that if this will cancel, we have 8k is equal to, we can cancel this. Then 4 times 2 will give us 8. So we divide by 8, we divide by 8. So what's our k? K is equal to 1. Then the value of y when x is equal to 27 and z is equal to 3. So our equation is this, y is equal to 2xk over z squared. So we are solving for y. What's our x this time? X is 27. 27, our k is 1 over our z, what's our z? Is 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Now we know that 3 times 9 is same as 27 over 9. So that I can just cancel this. Then my final answer is just 6, because 2 times 3 will give us 6. Then C, y is equal to 2xk over z squared. We want to solve for z. So let's look at y. Y is equal to 3, 2, what's our x? 24, k is 1, z squared. So we have 3 z squared is equal to 2. Now 24 is same as 8 times 3. So that if we divide by 3, we divide by 3, we know that the 3's will cancel, giving us 2 times 80 will give us 16. Then we'll take the square root, also the square root. So z is equal to plus or minus 4. Question 19. Find, so we want to find now the integral. So integration, you add 1 to the power. And this is indefinite integral. So how do you differentiate, integrate this one? So say 6x raised to the power 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 minus 2x raised to the power 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1. Then the constant, you just attach x to it, becomes 7x. So whenever you are solving for indefinite, you add c. This will be 6 over 2 plus 1 with 3, x raised to the power 3 minus 2 over 2x squared plus 7x plus c. So we can now reduce 3 into 6 will give us 2, x raised to 3 minus 1, x squared plus 7x plus c. You can ignore the minus c, that's okay. Then B, the areas of 2 similar cylinders are 64 centimeters squared and 36 centimeters squared respectively. If the height of the larger cylinder is 30 centimeters, find the height of the smaller cylinder. So we have smaller, we have larger. So the larger has 64 squared. Then here we have 36 squared. So let's make these in terms of ratios. We divide by, let's divide by, which number can we divide by? So let's divide by 2 centimeters squared. Also here 2 centimeters squared. So we can cancel this, we can cancel this. So 2 into 36 is 18. 2 into 64 will give us 32. Let's also add another 2. 2 here will give us 16. 2 here will give us 9. Then we can take the square root. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 16 will give us 4. So these are what we call the scale factors. Then if we have the scale factors, we have the height of the larger is 30 centimeters. Then we are solving for find the height of the smaller, we put x. So 4 times x will give us 4x is equal to, here this will be 3 times 30. So over 4 over 4. So 2 here is 2, 2 here is 15. Then 2 here is 1, 2 into 15 will give us 7.5. So 7.5 times 3. So let's say 75. Yes, 7.5 times 3. So let's ignore the decimal for now. 3 times 5 is 15 carry 1. 3 times 21. 21, that is 22. So the answer is 22.5 centimeters. And it's making sense because we can see that the height of this larger is 30 centimeters. Then 22.5 is the height for the smaller. It's making sense. Then we can also do it like this. So we can also say smaller is equal to larger. We know that we had 36 centimeters squared. Here we have 64. So we can just divide by centimeters squared, also here by centimeters squared. So that we have 36 to 64 square root. So the square root of this number is 6. The square root of this number is 8. So we have the scale factors. Then we put 30 here. Then x will cross multiply. So 8 times x will give us 8x. Then you have 6 times 30. So over 8 over 8. So x is equal to 2 here is 4, 2 here is 15, 2 here is 2, 2 here is 3. So we can say that we'll still get the same answer. Question 20. In the diagram below, AB is equal to 3 centimeters, BC is equal to 4 centimeters, AD is equal to 13, and angle ABC is equal to ADC is equal to 90. Calculate the value of tan DAC. So tan DAC. So we want this theta here. Now from the SOHCAHTOA, you know that the tan theta will be opposite over adjacent. So for us to find this tan, we need this distance. This is our opposite, then this is our adjacent, this is our hypotenuse. Now, what are we going to do? So we are going to first, let's get this triangle out of the combination of these two triangles. So I have A here, B, C, 4 centimeters, then 3 centimeters. So we can, if this is a right angle triangle, we can find this distance here, H, by using Pythagoras theorem. So say A, B, C, we are solving for C. So this is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. C squared is equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared. 9 plus 16. C squared is equal to, here we get 25. Square root. So C is equal to 5. So this means that there is a 5 here. Now, after we have this 5, now let's get this triangle ACD. This triangle ACD is like this. So if you look at this, we have this distance 13, we have 5, then we have this 90. So we are going to use again Pythagoras to find this distance here. So let's say this is our A, B, C. So according to Pythagoras, the longest distance is always the C. So that's a concept. So we'll say C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. C we have is 13 squared, A is 5 squared, B squared is what we are solving for. 13 times 13 is 169, is equal to 25 plus B squared. Then if we shift this guy to here, this will give us 169 minus 25 is equal to B squared. So this will give us 144. We know that now we can take out the square root of 144, which is our B is equal to 12. So this means that there was a 12 here. Then we have the full data. So this is now equal to tan what? DAC is equal to, the opposite is 12, the adjacent is 5. So this is our final answer. Then for question B, A is the point that and B is the point that. Find AB as a column vector. Find AB as a column vector. Find AB as a column vector. So So for a question like that, this one, for us to find AB, so A has these coordinates 1, 2, then B -2, 5. So we say AB will be equal to, we are going to add 1, 2 plus -2, 5. So this will be 1 minus 2, then 2 plus 5. As a column vector, this will be -1 and 7 here. So write 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region arrow on the diagram below. So we'll begin with this. So we'll say this is our inequality number 1. Then this will be our number 2, our number 3. Remember, you can begin with any. It's okay. So inequality number 1 is direct. It is cutting the x-axis at 2. This is 2 here. So it's x at 2. Then this region is less. So you can see that the less is shaded, so we want the greater, so put greater. We are not going to put equal to, because the line is dotted. Then for inequality number 2, we need to find the equation first. So it's 0,8 x1 y1. Then here it's 6,4 x2 y2. So what's our gradient? So gradient is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 4 minus 8, x2 is 6 minus 0. So on top we have -4 over 6, which is -2 over 3 as our gradient. Now the formula is y minus y1 is equal to gradient open brackets x minus x1. So y1, which one can we get? So we'll get this pair. You will see the reason why we'll get this pair. So if we get this pair, our y1 is 4. Then gradient, we know it's -2 over 3. x1 is 6. The reason why I got this one, so that it will be easier. -2 over 3 times x will give us an actual value. So -2 over 3 times x is -2 over 3 x. Then negative times negative will give us a positive. So -2 over 3 times this will give us 12 over 3. So no need of finding the lowest common denominator. So it's -2 over 3 x plus 3 into 12 will give us 4. Then we can now go back. The upper is greater, the lower is less, so 1, the lower part. So before we do that, let's shift this to this part. So this will be y is equal to -2 over 3 plus 4 plus 4. So y is equal to -2 over 3 plus 8. So y is less than or equal to -2 over 3 x plus 8 as our final answer. Now let's go to the third one. So the third one here, this will be 2, 0, the coordinates here. So x1, y1, then 6, 4. These two coordinates are being shared by these two lines. So let's begin by finding gradient, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 4 minus 0. x2 is 6 minus 2. So we can see that we have 4 over 4, which is giving us a 1 as our gradient. Then the formula y minus y1 is equal to gradient x minus x1. y1, what is our y1? So we can get just 0. 1, x1 is 2. So y minus 0 is just y. 1 times x will give us x minus 2. Then the upper is greater and we want the upper. So say y is greater than or equal to x minus 2. Then we go to question 22a. Given that the square root of 2 is equal to 2 raised to the power x. So we need to get rid of the square root here. So how can we get rid of the square root? So we can get rid of the square root by we remove the half. So this will be 2 raised to the power half is equal to 2 raised to the power x. So we know that whenever the bases are the same, the power must equal to each other. So x is equal to half. So how can we find another value here? So we can also do this. So let's do this. So let's raise to the power 2, also raise to the power 2. So we know that this will cancel, will give us 2 raised to the power 1 is equal to, we can multiply here, we'll get 2 raised to the power 2x. Then if the bases are the same, we can equate this. So this will be 2x is equal to 1. If you divide by 2, you divide by 2, you can see that we are still getting the same answer, which is half. Then we move on to question B. The diagram below shows the graph of y is equal to this. The graph cuts the x-axis at A and B. What's our equation? Find the coordinates of the points A and B. Okay, so say negative x plus 2x minus 5 is equal to the y value in the x-axis is 0. So now we'll say negative x plus 2 is equal to 0. X minus 5 is equal to 0. So now we have negative x is equal to negative 2 over negative over negative. So x is equal to positive 2. Then here will be 0 plus 5, x is equal to positive 5. So this means that if we have 0, we'll see that we'll reach at 2 before 5. So this is 2, 0. Then this will be 5, 0. So A is 2, 0. B 5, 0. Then the maximum value of y. The maximum value of y. So first we need to expand. So negative x times positive x is negative x squared. Negative x times negative 5 is positive 5x. 2 times x will give us 2x. 2 times negative 5 will give us negative 10. So negative x squared plus 7x minus 10. So to find the maximum value, we use y is equal to 4ac minus b squared over 4a. So the a is negative 1, the c is negative 10, the b is 7 squared over 4 times negative 1. So here we get positive 40 minus 49 over negative 4. Here we are going to have negative 7 over negative 4, which is 7 over 4. And it's making sense because here, if we are, this is the turning point. So on the turning point here, this is our x turning point, then this is our y turning point. So the y turning point represents the value, which is in our case maximum value. So now we can now look at the last question for this paper. 22, the diagram below shows the speed type graph of a moving part object. Okay, then find the acceleration of the object when t is equal to 3. If let's say this is 1, let's say 2, 3, let's say 4 here. So we want to find the acceleration when t is equal to 3. What is the acceleration at this point? Now we can say that we have a straight line here. We have a straight line here. So we can't use this t because we don't know the final velocity. So we'll find the acceleration between a and b. Since the acceleration in a straight line is constant, that value also means the same. So say acceleration is equal to final minus u over t. So our initial is 4. This is why it is starting. Our final is 24. So our final is 24 minus 4 over the time you get this 5 here over 5. So 24 minus 4 will give us 20 over 5. Then will give us 4 meters per second squared. So this is the acceleration of any point within this line. So it is also the acceleration when t is equal to 3. Then given that the object decelerates at 2 meters per second squared, find the value of t. So acceleration is equal to v minus u over t. So the acceleration we have been given is negative 2. Final, since this line touches the x-axis, the final is 0 minus the initial is this number. This is our initial here. So the initial is 24 over t is what we are solving for. We cross multiply. Negative 2 times t is negative 2t. Then here we have negative this. So over negative 2, also here over negative 2. So t is equal to 12. So that is the final answer. Calculate the average speed of the object in the first 10 seconds. So to find the average speed, you need to find the time taken in that region. So what is the distance in this? So here we'll first find the distance for this shape here. This is what we have. So this is giving us b L's. So say distance is equal to L times b. What's our L? L is 24 times b is 5. From here up to here is 5. So times 5. 5 times 24 is, yes, 24, but we'll first 5 times 4 is 20. We keep the 2, 5 times 210 plus that is 120. So that 120 is for this. Now we need to find the other for this one. So for this one, okay, I wanted to rotate so that you can have the clear picture, but it seems not that good. But the point is, if you rotate this, you'll be able to see that we are dealing with a trapezium. This is a trapezium where we have A here, then this will be our B, then this will be our height. So the distance is equal to half A plus B times height. So half, our A is just 4, our B is 24, our height is 5. So here we have 28 times 5. 2 here is 1, 2 here is 14. So what is 14 times 5? So 5 times 4, 20. We keep the 2. So we have 70 meters. Then the total distance will be 120 plus 70, which is 290. Now, average speed is equal to 290 over total time taken. I mean, we are just interested with 10, so over 10. So if we cancel, we have 29 meters per second. So this is what we can say. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.